They don't say shrimp, they say prawns.
Let them know, Amy. This is A Neighbor's Tale. In this episode, our fellow neighbor will be talking about fitting into a world that didn't accept her, finding true friends that did, being stereotyped in both her own country as well as other foreign countries like Australia and America, and how all this affected her as she grew to understand herself and her identity. As always, please like, comment, and subscribe as we're trying to reach that 100 sub count. And if we get to that sub count by the beginning of October, like October 1st, then I will eat a spoonful of wasabi. My pain and misery rests on your shoulders. So good luck. And let's meet our newest neighbor. Hey there, neighbors. I hope you're doing well today. I am here with Amy. I'm here with Amy.
Hi.
So really quick, I guess, like a brief kind of introduction of yourself.
Yeah.
I'll give you the floor.
So I'm half Australian, half Japanese.
You son of a bitch.
And I grew up in Nagoya, Japan. And then I spent some time in Japanese school. And then I was in international school from 3rd grade, then moved to the States shortly after. And then I was living in the States for 6 years, and after that spent some time in Japan, and then Australia, and then Japan again.
Excellent.
So I've been in Japan this time around for like over 2 years now.
You briefly talked about it
Mm-hmm.
with being half Japanese and half Australian.
Mm-hmm.
What have you experienced for yourself that you've seen that's been challenging?
So being half Japanese and half white,
Mm-hmm.
From the Japanese perspective, like at least for most people, in Japan they'll see you as like hafu, so you won't be seen as Japanese, even though I am Japanese, but I'm not fully Japanese in their eyes. When I was little, I knew a lot more Japanese than English.
Yes.
I identified with the culture a lot more. I would go to Australia like maybe once a year to see my family, but definitely felt a lot more Japanese.
Sure.
So it was weird because I saw myself as Japanese, but then my peers would see me as half, which to them is like also like foreigner and half are like, I guess, pretty similar.
Really? It's seen in their eyes as the same thing.
Yeah.
Fred, you next. He's not Fred, I am. Honestly, woman, you call yourself our mother.
In reality, there's so many like different types of half Japanese people.
Yeah, of course.
Of course,
yeah.
Right? You would think. But I really appreciate when someone asks about my background, because a lot of the time the assumption is just that I'm a foreigner, you know. And it doesn't go beyond that. First impressions is that I only speak English.
Gotcha.
Even when I do say I'm half, they're kind of, I don't know, that like I guess I'm just a foreigner.
In elementary school during English class,
Yeah.
they would, if there was ever a question that was asked or anything related to English,
Right.
all eyes on Amy.
Yeah.
Can you speak a little bit to that in terms of how you saw it affect you sort of later in life?
I never really liked attention, and especially attention for being different as a kid. I don't think anyone does.
Yeah, right. Fair enough.
Like,
fair enough.
you kind of just want to fit in with everyone, right? Now it's like, I guess, cool to be different. I hated that everyone just thought I was, that I had this unique ability, even though they were like admiring me, you know? But to me, it was like, oh, yeah, I don't want the spotlight.
Sure.
Yeah, and I even remember like in one of those classes, I think it was my last English class before I went to international school. I just left. I just left the classroom. I said I have to go to the bathroom.
Right.
Yeah, and I was in the bathroom for the entire class, and I was like, no one's gonna notice. The teacher came in and she said, Amy, are you okay? And I'm like, my stomach hurts. She took me to the stairwell, and she like had a little talk to me about it. She was like, you'll be okay. You're going to international school soon.
Okay.
And that's when I was like, okay, like maybe I'm better suited for like international communities because I really felt out of place. I love Japanese culture and it is part of who I am, but I also like being accepted and
for sure
wanting to like being understood and you know that kind of stuff.
You were talking about the international part of it, and that kind of being, I don't want to speak for you, but being a positive flip in that acceptance or being around like-minded people.
That's a good like distinction because it's not that we're all similar in the sense that we're from the same culture. We don't care about that. We just care that we're all different and that we're all able to embrace our differences.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
So that's what I really liked about it. It wasn't that we were all trying to be the same or that we were all connecting on that aspect of ourselves, just that we were vibing together.
Yeah.
And that we spoke the same language and we were able to, I don't know, connect on a deeper level that wasn't surfaced, like it wasn't anything to do with our cultures or anything with the background. It's just like vibing.
Yeah.
In Australia, I was like, you know, not very Australian, and then in Japanese school, I wasn't very Japanese. Then I went to international school, and like none of that mattered. It was nice to finally be able to like connect with people and have like similar things with them, and even just having friends from different cultures didn't have to have a similar background. We just had fun.
When you felt like you moved, or when you went to vacation to see your family, did you feel like that reinforced that type of foreigner mindset in the eyes of the people around you?
I can tell you there were some things that made me uncomfortable. Like, they, you know, Japanese people don't hug that often.
It's hug time, Chris. Come here.
I wasn't opposed to hugging.
Sure.
I was okay with it, to be honest. Like, it was fine. But, like, they would be like, oh, this isn't an Australian hug. So they would, you know, they'd be like, give me a proper hug. Like, and I'd be like, sorry, like, girl, like, I don't hug. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Even going back as a teenager and when my, I guess, accent was, like, less Australian. Because I had spent a lot of time in international school, whatnot. They would, they would ask, like, oh, can you do an Australian accent? And I was like, I've been doing one this whole time.
What the fuck does that mean?
Right? Yeah, exactly. So, there's just like things like that where they're like, well, she's not Australian. But it's like, yeah, I'm not. I really haven't spent time there, but the expectation for me to like miraculously become Australian is just so unrealistic.
You went to America.
Yeah, this is America.
For, what was it? I think 6 years?
Yeah.
Got you. So what you would talk a little bit about that. Can you elaborate a little bit again about, sorry to make you repeat yourself, but just about that experience? So
I moved to the States and so a lot of people, especially in middle school, we were all like 11, 12, and they had these preconceived notions about me because I was Asian.
I encountered Asian stereotypes for the first time. When I moved to America, it's like Asian people are good at math. I didn't know that.
Which was interesting to me because I hadn't actually thought that I was Asian. I thought I was Japanese. I thought I was half Japanese, and I was like, okay, I'm fully Asian in their eyes. So I was like, okay. I guess I kind of knew about these stereotypes, but I didn't think I was part of that. Mostly nice things, but yeah, people were very like focused on the fact that I was quiet, and they thought I was smart. They would assume I was like
a straight A student.
A straight A student that I tried, which is not the case. So there were things like that. I guess it was good because I helped a lot of people with their homework and then eventually started becoming good at school. It felt weird being an outsider, but on the opposite side now. I am from Asia, but I'm not Asian. But now I'm like, I am Asian because I'm from Asia. But it was it was It was weird.
What are some of the things that you've seen in your past as past Amy compared to now?
As a child, I was really quiet and didn't really think much of anything. As a teenager, was not very secure. I thought of myself as how others viewed me. I was craving like individuality, like wanting to cut my hair and all of these like things. I wanted to dress differently, but I just like never did. Now I can say that like I do what I want, a lot more confident. And I'm more, it's not all about confidence now. I know that I'm like a compassionate person, and there's so many more parts of me than what I'm trying to prove from my younger self that I was not. Because I guess when I was younger, I was so focused on the fact that I was awkward, whatnot, that for a while I was like, I just have to not be that. I have to not be that. But I'm more than that, and I've always been, you know.
Damn, Skip.
So, and being biracial has made me more compassionate, being able to see people as people, and not put people in boxes. And I'm really proud of that fact now.
You're going into psychology, which is badass.
Thank you.
Yeah, can you kind of talk about your own journey of why you went that direction and kind of what you just find interesting about it?
Yeah, definitely. I was always an advocate for mental health. My mother was seeing a therapist for a while, and I was wanting to see one for a long time. I moved out and I got therapy. It really helped me, and I noticed that it was helping the people around me, helping myself, and I saw like the positive impact that it had on not just me, but just everyone around me. I believe in the power of therapy. I'm going into music therapy because I think therapy is really powerful. I think music is really powerful, and the two of them put together, I just think, yeah, it's better chances of people fully realizing themselves.
Anything you want to say to anybody regarding the stuff that we covered, maybe something that we didn't cover?
Yeah. Well, something that I've had to learn without someone telling me is that your identity isn't given to you. You give your identity to yourself.
You gotta get your shit together.
And you choose what to do in your life, and you choose the types of people you hang out with, and it doesn't matter where you're from, what kinds of people are around you, but yeah, you can choose that for yourself, and you can be, you know, half something else. You could be from somewhere that nobody knows, but as long as you have something, it could be anything. There are so many things that could unify us, and it's not just culture. There's so many things. For me, it was music. But,
Love it. That was A Neighbor's Tale with Amy, so thank you so much again. I appreciate it. Please, as always, like, comment, and subscribe.
Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.